Wait, we are live?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Well, welcome back, everyone, to week 6 of the SBL season 7. We're jumping into game 2 here. I'm 30, casting, and also brought to you by Tree. Hello.
What up?
Um, and so on the blue side here in game 2, we have two Kawhi to live, two Segoy to die. 3-2 currently on the season, going against sort of a legendary team. I like to say, Boy Butter on the red side, and they are 0-5 to start this season. But it's a new day, Tree. It's a new week. It's a new game. Even
I
there's
mean,
always an opportunity to win a game, right?
sometimes if you just go full clown fiesta, the other team won't know what to do. They can always go that route and hope that works out for them.
Yeah, and at this point in the season, I think Boy Butter they will, you know, they'll take the textbook, they'll reread it a couple times, and then they'll just like set it on fire and then like live under a bridge and use it as warmth or something. Like I don't even know what they're supposed to do right now. And I guess the first step they did is they benched King. They benched him. They
Yep.
after a very lackluster performance last week, he is hitting the showers early, and they brought in Manlor the Miracle. I mean, that's really, I guess that is step 2, right?
What I'm
Miracles.
what I'm interested in is this bottom. I'm assuming it's going to be Joey AD with probably Cruz support and Manlorn mid,
Which is
but
what a lot
they
of people had
could
predicted.
they could switch it up. I mean, a lot of them, like all three of those players, have played support. I think everyone like Manlor and Cruz have played mid, so they could switch that up, but that's the assumption going into this. But looking at some of these bands, we have a Jin band coming out and Shen and Kha'Zix.
Yeah, the Jin ban. I mean, Jin is a relatively strong ADK right now. He's sitting at like a 52% win rate. I didn't know if Albino Joe or Manler are known for playing Jin, but I guess Albino is, and so that's why they're banning it. Must be in the match history. And Shen obviously targeted at I'm just standing in the top lane. He's an expert with Shen top, and then Kha'Zix, sort of a up and coming jungle champion, but always a favorite at Master Splinter. On the opposite side, bans for Boy Butter, Amu, Trundle, and Malphite, and they took Amu away from Epic Yandere after he's played it twice so far in the season, had reasonably good results on it, but that leaves open Eve.
I'm interested to see how these guys handle Eve, because Eve causes you to change how you play this game. When the champion is always invisible, unless you're within a certain distance or a pink ward, like True Sight, you have to play it different. You have to buy even more pink wards, which you should be buying a fuck ton of already.
Right, and not only that, because inherently the champion does make you change your playstyle, like you just said, but we don't even see it a lot. So even if you know how to play against it, you might actually not. You don't execute that playstyle correctly, because when was the last time you actually played against an Eve?
It's been a while, but
yeah.
if there's one thing I know, it's like you're always in the back of your mind. If you don't currently see her on the map, you're like, she could be here. She could be here right now next to me, and I wouldn't know.
just breathing in your ear,
It
just
fucks
waiting.
with your head, man.
Yeah. So I mean, it's fantastic we finally get to see it this season, and especially on someone like Epic Yanteri, who has time and time again shown he can play these very weird non-meta jungle champions, and he's always been known for this. He has an incredible win rate with it in solo queue, and today we finally get to see his prowess on it. Picks on the Boy Butter to answer that, though. First rotation for them was an Ezreal and Braum pickup, so they already have their bot lane figured out. Albino Joe's already had a really good performance on Ezreal actually this season, and then Manlor picking just a very standard tanky support in Braum.
Yeah, those are both comfort picks for them. I know both of them play that a lot, and that's a safer lane for sure. It's going to be a lot of farming, and Ezreal is obviously one of the safest AD carries.
Yep.
I don't expect to see a lot of action, period, in bot lane. I'm actually expecting that not to be top, and the Tristana obviously does not have the greatest early either. Not terrible, but not great.
Yeah.
Oh, with those picks, actually, if that gets locked in. Okay, so it is not support?
Well, here's the thing. So when I see a Akali today, me and Tree, we've played the game for a while, right? We've played it for 6 seasons now. Back in our day, Akali was sort of a mid lane assassin champ. You build straight AP on her. Nowadays, when I see
No,
Akali,
hold
I
up,
think
hold up.
top lane tank bullshit.
It's not even a collie. It's a fill-in for Karthus.
Oh, Akali is Karthus.
Yeah, I
Well,
got that as you were talking. I got that
oh,
message. So
Jesus, 50. You got this great. I was going to go into this huge soapbox rant about how Sunfire Cave and Iceborne Gauntlet are ruining top lane, but that's fine too, actually, because 50 on Karthus. Um, well, before I even talk about that, let's just talk about the whole lineup for Waifu Superstar. Like you pointed out, they do have that very safe bot lane. Oh, gee, and we're gone.
yeah,
We're
well
out
they
of
have
champs.
to they have to switch because of the Karthus.
Yep. Okay. Well, that's fine. That's the only. Fine. Let's just go back to the Karthus. Thrifty really wants to talk about Karthus. I think this is the second game this season,
I believe so. I do think he played it once already.
and I believe he won on it previously.
I do not know for sure which game he played it in, so I can't check it immediately. But if things play out like they did last week, where everyone targeted the shit out of him, Karthus is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Because Karthus doesn't care if he's alive or dead. He gets to do his job anyway. And we'll eventually get this one day.
Yeah. Well, I accidentally clicked quit spectating. So I'm just gonna wait. I'm gonna watch the stream here and talk about these picks. Is the stream? I can't see the picks. We should be able to see the picks, right? I think there may be some layering problems on the stream.
Maybe.
Oh, it's the stream's behind. We'll give it a sec here. But maybe you can help me out. You can see the picks. So what is Waifu Superstars lineup?
Well, I'm on Waifu Superstar.
Oh no, sorry. That was last game. Let's go with Boy Butter. What's Boy Butter's lineup on the red side there?
We will have to wait. I currently do not have the updated, and I was pretty focused on the left side of that screen. So, pretty quick here. We'll still have 3 minutes to talk about them, so we'll have plenty of time. They're just blazing through their bans real quick. Then we'll get the picks going down.
Well, I guess while we have a little bit of time, because like you said, we do have quite a bit of time. Just for the bans, I already talked about the Amu ban, but the Trundle and Malphite ban targeted at Scotchknot, and he is known for just playing these very tanky top lane champions. Plays pretty passive in the early laning phase, sort of just farms, stays even, doesn't look for a lot of engages, but has excellent teleport usage and always becomes a factor in this late game. But Boy Butter opting to take away 2 of those strong picks away with Trundle and Malphite. And so I remember the lineup. For 2K2S, their full lineup is Eve jungle. Is that Gragas top?
That is Graga's top.
Nice, Gragas top. So for the uninformed, Gragas top is very quickly, in my opinion, became a top lane thing. Much like all of the other top lane champs, I believe he is built with the Sunfire Cape, Iceborne Gauntlet route with Grasp of the Undying, and has really just become a huge meta pick right now. He can be flexed into the jungle as well, so it's a really strong pick in the pick ban phase in itself. Same with that Nautilus. They picked Nautilus second rotation, and that could have gone anywhere, and it actually does go to the bottom lane, not actually going to Nautilus top lane.
Yeah, so that says to me that at least for them, they are going to be looking for some engages, which makes sense, especially with Eve on the team. Like we said, it's very easy for her to gank. And even if you do place that pink ward, she can just kill it and then rotate back through. It's like I said, you have to change your whole game style, your whole play style while you're in lane.
Yep, and rounding into that composition, like we talked about previously, is Karthus in the mid lane for Thrifty, and then Frisky Onachan on the Tristana, which is a champion I think we've only seen once this season. She's really fell out of favor with most AD carry players.
which is interesting because I don't think she's gotten weaker. I think the other ADs are just slightly better at this point. They all have something that they just do slightly better.
Yeah, and I mean the one thing that I guess Triss does still have is amazing tower taking ability with the
Yeah,
bomb. I guess we'll have to see how that goes, and it's a nice balanced team composition from them. I really like it. It has a lot of options to engage. It has the disengage with Gragas. It has very good early game jungle pressure with Eve, obviously, and then it even has elements of a good late game scaling team fight with Karthus and Tristana, both very good champions in the late game. Tons of magic damage, though. I would really expect someone on the Boy Butter team to build Aegis Legion, which I believe will be Manlar on the
that pretty much
Braum.
has to be Braum.
Yeah.
Uh,
And talk about their lineup. They got I'm just Stan on Kale once again in the top lane. He had a really stellar performance on that earlier in that season against the game against Waifu Superstar. Um, so we'll see if he can try to replicate that performance. And then Master Splinter on the Jungle Nocturne and Cruise Master finishing out the lineup on Malzahar. Or not, well, wait a minute. Did they switch around? Or is it Cruise mid?
Cruz is Malzahar, so he
Oh,
will
okay.
be mid lane.
I got a black screen when I right clicked spectate. I don't know if that's a good thing.
We're just gonna hope. And then Splinter is on the Nocturne.
Okay, so split pushing threats, I should say, with an S there. It's plural for Boy Butter. They have Kale with teleport, and then you have Nocturne, just with his ultimate. So I think this season they've shown so far their best win condition. And I always remember back to the Waifu Superstar game that they actually almost won. Was the split pushing idea, and they had a 1-3-1 going for a lot of the
Yeah,
early and mid game, and it worked very effectively.
they were looking super strong that game. They managed to get a lot just with the split pushing, and the Nocturne works also because with his ult that will give him a little bit. He'll almost be able to work like Eve does because he's not even on your mini map, and then he's ganking your lane.
Yeah,
Obviously, not quite the same effect going on there, but it will allow him to get to counter ganks quicker.
yeah, and that is something to note actually. Eve, at least from my experience playing her in the past, she is great at ganking a lane and forcing a 2v1 situation, but Eve doesn't do so well in a counter gank situation. You should usually use W to speed up and get into that melee range that's required for you to do damage. But aside from that, you basically just have to flash out any fight that you don't want. Um, so expect Splinter to be all over the map. I mean, obviously it's Splinter, so he's going to be farming hard, going to get those Devour stacks early on, and he's going to try for the sixth time this season to carry Boy Butter on his back and get a win on the board for them. Try to get him out of that sixth place
Yeah, and
on the season so far.
we'll see if their roster swap can help them get there this time.
Yeah.
As we do have the Diamonds meeting up again.
Oh yeah. Thrifty versus Master Splinter, a classic SBL matchup actually. Goes back to its creation essentially.
Yeah, it's been around since season 1. So we do, yeah, pretty much normal summoners all around. Karthus taking that exhaust. It's fairly normal for a Karthus at least.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'm a little surprised. Karthuses sometimes take teleport, right?
Yeah.
In order to get back to lane, usually. They don't exactly need it for ganking, the ult kind of takes care of that.
Yeah, and I would imagine he would have taken teleport if either A, he expected to be in a matchup where he was being forced back a lot early on. I mean, especially early on, because he does need to be able to get that tier and catalyst early on and recall right away and get back to lane to keep the lane pushed and stay even in CS. But yeah, I assume it'd just be like for double TP situations where you really just wanted to team fight all the time, which Karthus does do well as the game goes on. Both teams sort of met each other in the river, and looks like the game's already over. Wrecked, GG, tilt. So, I mean, I always curious on Runes and Masters. Everything looks very standard across the board. Um, wow, actually no, 15 attack damage rune. So for the Eve jungle, which isn't the normal setup. Usually they run the 26 ability power rune page, so the one that you run on like Nidalee, and Eve. Essentially, those are the only two. Just to basically say, hey, I'm bringing tons of damage to my first gank. That's how I'm going to try to win the game, is off the snowballing. But goes with attack damage, which still does well on Eve's kit, but usually ability power comes out on top with the Q and E damage. Interesting, but once again, both teams starting off pretty standard here, helping out their junglers in the bottom side.
Yeah, and we have Splinter actually starting blue buff, which is not quite normal anymore.
Oh yeah,
normally you're starting on that frog, but
yeah, I'm kind of interested to see what he does with that, and he still had the bot lane help, so they get there just they got there actually just in time for XP on those first minions. So I don't know big level 2 power spikes, I don't believe, unless 2K2S's bot lane really pushes it. Oh, wait a minute, dude, I totally messed this up. Okay, so Zaku is actually playing AD this game.
I didn't notice either until roughly the same time you did. And yeah, that surprised me. I don't know how Zaku does on AD. I have no idea.
Oh, Scotch going into the belly bump, but he gets punished, and Frisky Onochan, he goes in, he actually hit level 2 first and gets the hook onto Albino Joe, and Albino Joe goes so incredibly low. Zaku was able to get tons of autos off and proc that bomb damage, and Albino Joe forced to use his biscuit early. Yeah, no, this is great. That was a great level 2 power spike trade from Frisky and Zaku, and like you said, I don't know how good Zaku is on AD, so this is going to be a very interesting game. And
yeah, nice. I just don't know enough about it, so
yeah. And we got our first hashtag SBL pause of the game for week 6, brought to you by Bad Dragon.
It's a good thing I'm not spectating this game. Definitely just got that bug.
Oh.
So I will be watching off of the stream, which is all right because I'm color.
That's true. All right, and I will play by play, like it is already hashtag scripted. Some kind of disc. Oh yeah, Frisky Onochan disconnected, so that's the reason for this pause. Hey, we got to talk about, that's our second sponsor, Scotch. We'll talk about water for the second pause that I'm predicting is going to happen today. I believe there's going to be a second pause during this week of SBL play.
I dream of the days when we didn't have to pause all the time. Those were good. Those were good times.
Before the pause feature existed.
No, we had a good couple of weeks where there was no pauses. It was just super smooth. It's always like an event. Like there should be confetti and a party thrown. But it's nice when it happens.
Yeah.
And we are back into it.
Oh, actually, someone brought up in the chat. It's a good thinking there that Splinter probably started blue so he could get to his red buff a little bit earlier, so he didn't get invaded on by.
Yeah, and against an Eve, that's a super very likely thing to happen. Oh, and we do have both junglers near top here.
Yeah, Splinter already went back, and there was no gank to be had. Scotch flashes in, belly buffs onto Dan. Dan flashes out. Epic Gondari has the double buffs. They are going. Red buff's ticking. Dan's real low. Epic Gondari flashes in, takes some tower damage, but it's going to be enough. First blood going over to Epic Gondari on that Evelynn.
Yeah, that's Evelynn. It's so annoying with that red buff constantly slowing, constantly. And you're just running away. You're like, please, please, I have a family. Stop. But you don't have a family. You're dead now. And
oh, fight coming in the bottom lane here. Master Splinter does have red buff. Zaku opts the rocket jump out early, and before that Braum passive was procced in a very bad location for him, and a little jungle pressure coming in for Boy Butter, trying to alleviate some of it that's been put on early by the Zaku Frisky bot lane.
Yeah, Zaku with a pretty decent time jump there right before, like, I think as the auto attack was coming to stun him, so he just got as much distance as he could. So that's, I mean, both ADs have very, very easy escapes.
Epic Yandere, he's on a sneaking mission. He is stealthed up in this bottom lane in a warded bush. We don't see her.
Yeah, pink wards only. Real wards don't count against Evelynn. They are not real. It looks like they just decided, yeah, pushing back.
Wait a minute, Cruise Master. What do you? Wait a minute. Did I not see this? Is this a thing? How do I? Can I not see keystones in Spectator?
You should be able to. Does everyone else have a keystone?
Or how do I? No, I mean I don't think there's a place in
Tab.
Tab is the scoreboard.
Yeah, it should have keystones on the scoreboard.
On the Spectator scoreboard?
That's a good question. I can't check right now. I'm watching the stream. What would I know?
Well, is my eyes deceiving me? But I feel like I see when Cruise Master does damage, the little Warlord's Bloodlust deal, the little red arrow thing.
Oh man.
That happens when he does damage.
Well, we're way past the point of remaking if that's true, so...
Yeah, no, yeah, I can only imagine this was intentional.
I mean, alright.
I want to know, folks, if anyone can find out and tell us in the chat, that'd be fantastic.
I'll search it quick.
Okay, I know there might be some sites, lolnexusop.tg, they might be able to show that. But Epic Yandere, once again, paying a visit to this top lane. He is in this bush. Dan has no idea. WE from Scotch. Grogasol comes in and a super easy kill. Second one going over to Epic Yandere in the top lane. And a lot of pressure being put in this top lane onto Dan. He's still very even in CS, even with all this jungle pressure. But Scotch should move a little bit ahead after this wave. Pink ward that was placed in that dry bush is taken out by Eve, and that's just a big slap in the face if you see that.
Yeah, just looked it up and Salvo corroborating in chat. It is Fire Touch.
Oh, okay. Cool. Well, that's good. I don't know why I see the little red arrow thing. Might be Spectator bug.
Rito, please. Sure.
But Epic Yandere, once again, in this top lane, did he even recall or go back? I don't think he did. No.
Who knows? He's 2-0. He's 2-0 and he wants more.
Yeah, I think this is a tilt tactic at this point, and Frisky Onchan lands the hook down to Manlord, uses that shield, trades back pretty well actually on Frisky Onchan's Nautilus.
Oh, is Dan taking the bait?
He wards up his tri-push again, but it's just a normal ward, and here comes the fight. The slow goes down into Dan, but Dan now has his ultimate. And he uses it, but then Karthazal comes out trying to finish him off, but it's not going to be enough. And Dan escapes the clutches of essentially what is a 3-man gang on him in the top lane. Wow.
Yeah, that was... oh man.
I don't know. I don't know if this is the hashtag tilt Dan strat, but that's what it's kind of looking like. Or they really just don't want this Kayle to get started up like it was the last time we played Kayle.
Which is fair. I mean, Kayle can be really, really scary when played well, and Dad definitely was playing her well. I'm amazed Gragas is not up higher. Dan died twice.
Yeah, I mean, Scott's never really been known for his laning prowess. I mean, he survives the lane, goes even, and sometimes, with jungle pressure, gets going. He has 2 assists, but yeah, he's never really known for taking huge, demanding leads in the top lane. But I think that's gonna be all right with him on this Gragas. They have kept Dan down as much as possible, it seems like, at this point. Epic visits the bot lane. Nautilus root goes down to Albino Joe, but he's in a really good spot right now to stay alive. Manlord, he gets caught out, but Nautilus ult will knock him up on the way, and Flash comes out from Joe after getting hooked. See if he can survive here, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Epic Yandere on a killing spree. Top and bottom. Mid lane is non-existent to Epic Yandere at this point.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Just...
And 3 kills.
Bloody.
All of the kills, and Cruise Master flashes in. lands that suppression down into Thrifty Senpai. Master Splinter follows up with a Nocturnal, lands the Fear, but Thrifty's gonna have enough to stay alive here. But
So
then he goes behind enemy lines, flashes in between the tier 1 and tier 2 mid tower, and picks up the kill on Thrifty. Meanwhile, in the bottom, 3 men strong for 2K2S, and they will try to get this bot tower. 3 men also in mid for Boy Butter. First tower going over the game to 2K2S.
So this is what happens when Evelyn gets picked and you continue to try to play the same way.
Yeah. And mid tier 1 answered for Boy Butter. Huh, I mean, it was actually a very good answer. And it might even be an advantage for Boy Butter. Usually that mid tower it has a little more value and worth, especially early on in this game, when you take out towers. And Scotch, he only has 3 minions left. He's really trying to lay down all the damage on the tower, but there's 3 men here. Onto Scotch. I don't think he's going to get out of this one. Surely he won't, and Master Splinter picks up a free kill on Scotch, who maybe stayed a little bit too long there.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he thought he could get that whole thing or just thought they weren't anywhere near, but that's one of those. Oh, there was no wards anywhere too. That was just being a little too confident, I think.
Yeah, and there's pink ward even in that lane bush, laid down by someone, but Thrifty slowly floats into the bottom lane, and he's scary, he's spooky, and you know what? He's just gonna assist. And Epic Yandere literally just becoming a monster right now. 4-0-0 for him.
Yeah, he's massive, and he's doing so much damage now, and he only has the 1 item.
Yep. Easy dragon pickup after easy kill into the bottom lane on the Ezreal. They had no summoners from the last scuffle that was down there, and 2K2S, they have a 500 gold lead, but it just seems like so much more. I mean, they have the dragon, but it's really just like the gank pressure and the lane pressure from all of these lanes, especially Epic Yandere. It just seems like they're really controlling this game. Fight goes on to I'm Just Dan from Scotch and use that ultimate to block the Karakas ult damage, but it won't be enough. W-empowered auto attack will finish him off in the 1v1.
The funny thing is, all these oh, good lord. He's still, Epic Yandere is still below Splinter in levels.
Manlor the Miracle, he's on a sneaky mission himself, and he's got this epic flank onto the bottom lane. Passive goes down to the Zaku, and he'll get stunned up from the Nocturnal from Splinter, and an easy kill for him, and now they're just going on to the free kill Frisky Onachan here, and Manlor the Miracle coming in with a sneaky prom play.
That was good. I mean, he literally started that with just right-clicking him.
yeah, that's the power of Braum, folks. It's that passive is just so good once you get it going.
Yeah, they had nowhere to go.
Yeah. So Boy Butter really answering it back, evening up the gold essentially, and Scotch and Yandere once again coming in for the full trilogy top lane gank here, and I'm Just Dan, he evades this top lane gank beautifully and forces both of the players back. And he says not today, and while that's happening, the pressure coming from Epic Yandere onto the top lane that allows Boy Butter to pick up their second tower of the game and take the gold lead.
Yeah, that was a very nice hold by Dan under that tower. Just played it super calm. Didn't waste his flash early or anything.
Zaku, he's in that bush, lays on the bomb on the Manlor, and quite a bit of damage going down on him. He's out of mana, so I think they're choosing the smart thing here to run him back, maybe fill up, get some items, take a breather. Cruise Master's in this top lane, looking for a gank. Onto Thrifty, he's actually also in the top lane, but he's spotted out by a ward in that tri-bush. Thrifty, I don't think is going to let this gank happen now that he knows Cruz is in this top lane. So really just a really hectic game. It's all over the place. A lot of counter ganks, actually. A lot of good counter ganks and just ganks in general. Epic Yandere, man, he's the gank master. Like,
yeah, so I'm just looking at the scoreboard, and it's jungles and top lanes. Like, everyone else has only just died or got assists.
Yeah, that is very true. So this is, you know, what I now am gonna call the highlight matchup. It's between Epic Yandere and Master Splinter, as they both attempt to try to to carry their teams transitioning into the mid game.
Yeah, they're both trying to get big. They're both building full damage right now. Splinter is building a little bit of MR here.
Oh, found the sneaky Braum again. Frisky Onachan's the winner, and he tries to hook onto Albano Joe, but Mandler body blocks the hook onto Albano Joe, and Splinter goes in onto Zaku. He's gonna get the Rampage kill. Carthusol comes out, but I believe it is blocked. It's spell shielded by Master Splinter, and Scotch, big old Gragas comes in from the teleport, trying to lay the damage on Albino Joe, uses that arcane shift to get away, and Summoner Heal comes out. He will stay alive. Suppression comes in. Albino Joe goes down. So a 0 for 4? Wait a minute, how was Eve there?
I don't know why Scotch finished that teleport.
Ooh. Skittle almost killing Albino Joe, but wow, yeah, Scotch finishes the teleport and teleports into a very disadvantaged fight, and that's 4 kills for Boy Butter. Like, nothing ever happened. And wait, Dan was in the top lane when this happened, so he picks up the tier 1 top tower, and Boy Butter taking a commanding 4K gold lead.
Yeah, that was, I think, so it must have been a 4v4. By the end of it, obviously, they like filtered in over time. It wasn't a straight 4v4 skirmish. But Dan never had teleport during any of it. He's like, I'm gonna push. Good luck, everybody.
Hey, Gragas is coming down there. Okay.
He's like, there's nothing he can do. Like, he did what he could, and he got a tower for it. And,
yeah,
you know, it just so happened that they're like, all right, fuck it, we're just gonna win down here.
Yeah, it really just seemed like sloppy execution out of 2K2S. It really all started off with finding Mandlore, and Mandlore right-clicking. He's the champ of this game. 0-0-6 right now for his team, and it suns up Frisky Onachan. Shield comes out, he's blocking so much damage right now. Albino Joe can just free hit Frisky Onachan. He has the red buff. Epic Yandere is there for help, but he is spotted out. And I don't think this 2K2S bot lane can really match up now against this Ezreal and Braum. Oh, belly bopped onto Dan. Dan's already down to half health. He hasn't really traded much damage back, and he almost gets 100-0 without dealing any damage back to Scotch and flashes out, but the auto lands actually, and Master Splinter there was there to pick up the kill. 5 kills for him so far, 3 assists.
Oh man, that was a great ult.
Yeah, I mean, Dan is really just getting bullied, whether it's just a 1v1 or most of the time it's usually a 1v2 with Epic Yandere in the mix, but not the greatest game for him right now, but his team is really there to help him out, saying like, hey, it's okay, just farm it up in the top lane. We're here to help, and Albino Joe gets caught in a bad place, has to flash over the wall. Epic Yandere follows. Iceborne Gauntlet, Iceborne Gauntlet wasn't enough to save him from that Eve. And that would just be a very quick local objective of a dragon.
I don't know if you were paying attention to how that started. Epic Yandere saw him backing and literally just took the time to get around in front of him. Like, he knew he was backing, but he's like, he doesn't see me. I'm invisible. Fuck this.
Yeah.
So he literally took the time to get around him, and oh man, he's such a problem right now.
Yeah, and he didn't even have red buff for like the sticking power, and an arcane shift and a flash still wasn't able to get enough or create enough distance. It's really that W in Eve's kit that allowed him to just chase him. So, oh my god, Master Splinter has 100 CS, Epic Yandere only has 60.
Yeah, Splinter, while also being 5 kills, the same as Yandere, he also has 40 more CS.
So yeah, I think Splinter's, yeah, you gotta say arguably he's coming out on top. I mean, I'm checking the gold charts now. He has 8K, the most in the game, and Epic Yandere is only at 6.3K. It's not even the most on his team. It's actually Thrifty, who's largely been in the background this game.
Farming.
Karthus. Hard farming the Karthus, and granted, he does have 182 CS most in the game, so he is doing an incredible job, especially at 19 minutes to have this CS number. So he's just sort of waiting, stacking, you know, like just stacking up that Rod of Ages, getting that gold, getting all that ability power. He actually didn't go with a tier this game, opting straight to go for the Rod of Ages.
So we do have both junglers going for sort of a bruiser build here, neither going full damage. Splinter's on the very edge there. Maw is actually getting nerfed at next patch, but currently it's just an amazing item.
Right. Yeah, and especially good, like I pointed out during the draft, against this 2K2S lineup, which is a lot of magic damage. And perfectly, just like as you stated, Braum already has the Aegis of the Legion. So he is working on that. And I think once the Legion is really completed, and with the gold lead that Boy Butter has right now, I think they can just sort of win every 5-on-5 fight. Manlord doing his sneaky Braum play again, but then he gets found.
He has to ult, but there's a
Epic on
TP.
Derry. W flash, red buff taking, he actually gets out. Teleport comes in for him to stand, and he gets knocked away. Kale does come down to mitigate all of that damage, and he's staying in the fight. Carthage go down, and I'm just stays alive. Master Splinter with the counter gank. Oh my god, Saku flashes into the Ezreal ult, and a double kill for Albino Joe. It's a 3-for-1 right now for Boy Butter, and Scott, he's in a bad place. He didn't actually teleport, he just walked down into a bad place in that Dragon Pit, and Boy Butter once again coming out ahead.
Mad Life? Predicted?
The Ezreal?
Sure, why not?
Mad Life, the true shot barrage, Albino Joe. And Albino Joe, let's talk about him and his play. Like, this is the second time he's played AD this season, I believe, and it's the second time he's played Ezreal, and he's just really good at Ezreal.
Yeah, they were basically, both AD's bottom were roughly equal until that 4-0 clusterfuck bottom. They got the Clown Fiesta, they packed everyone in the Clown car, they drove it to bottom, and they crashed it. They crashed it into bottom lane, and it was on fire. It was the worst. They didn't even have insurance.
No insurance. They're reckless clowns, man.
Yeah, it was pretty bad, and Joey got 3 kills off of that, and has been able to keep going with that.
Yeah, wow, yeah, and the Ezreal's sitting in a really nice place. He's got the Iceborne Gauntlet and the Manamune. 590 stacks out of 750 until he gets that Mura mana. But he's got the cooldown boots. Also working on what I assume would be a BT coming in next. Oh, actually, maybe a Blade of the Ruined King, which is a pretty common blue build Ezreal item. But either way, just looking at the map in total, it's a 4K gold lead for Boy Butter. Boy Butter.
And yeah, that's coming just from we do have a Nocturne engaged.
Fight with the Nocturne ult, lays down the fear on Zaku, but he gets out of range, and Master Splinter gets knocked out. He almost goes down in this Nautilus ult, knocks everyone up in the fight. Suppression comes down, but it isn't able to kill the target, and Epic Terry picks up Manlo before he flashes out and barely escapes with his life. Scotch comes in with the Grog Assault. It was already too late. Cruz picks it up. A 1-for-1 so far, and Boy Butter, they still want this fight. They still want to chase.
Was that ult an attempt to get Space Aids to kill the minions and jump to one of them? Is that what that was?
I don't know, but this was a 5v4, folks, because Dan once again didn't have teleport, and he was
like, I see what you're doing. I acknowledge it. I'm top. Good luck.
Yep, and he picks up another tower, and this Kale is quickly becoming a split push problem. Nashor's Tooth and Rage Blade completed.
You know what? That's a good point, Salvo. They're against an Eve. They still have 3 yellow trinkets.
What the fuck? What the fuck?
Those don't do anything against Eve.
Yeah, that's just really a support misplay. Well, actually, I've heard this argument, and I could probably argue for it, actually having a yellow trinket along with a Sightstone, but not this game, folks. You're playing against an Eve. Buy Oracle Lens. Buy it. Don't only buy it. It's free.
At least they're buying a decent amount of pink wards. 3 of them do have them in their inventory.
That's true, yeah. And looks like they have one in that bottom tri-lane bush, or tri-bush, tri-lane bush. That'd be crazy. We don't it now. Anyway, the dragon is really the next objective here. Actually 2 taken so far for 2K2S, and 5 members of 2K2S are now rotating over the mid.
Yeah, they're going to get pincered. Oh no, they are not going to take that fight. I thought they were going to try and get behind him in mid lane and take that pincer fight.
Yeah, that's what it definitely looked like. And they didn't have the mini wave was destroyed by I'm Just Dan, and there's nothing they can do.
like they were 5K ahead and they had that pincer if they wanted it. I think they should have tried that one.
Mm-hmm. It might have been because they didn't know where their epic was, and that's some important information to know before you start fights. But Zaku had to go back. He was low on health. Now he spent that gold. He has an IE, but only a Zeal so far at 25 minutes in the game. So this Tristana probably not doing as much damage as it should be expected.
And we are dancing around this dragon now.
Yeah,
everyone wants a
but
piece.
But they have that Scuttle Crab speed buff there, so they do have the advantage if they just want to quickly start the fight. They just
they can get in quick. Speed. It looks like they're just trying to poke, which they, like, Ezreal just by himself is a lot of poke, but it looks like we might have an engage.
Here we go, Karthus Wall comes out, Scott starts with the Grog Assault, S-Splitter's in the backline, Kill Wall goes down onto him, and he's trying to do the damage while he is invulnerable. Karthus Ult comes out, double kill so far for Dan. I'm just standing Mandler, they're over the wall, but Zaku, he finishes off some kills, but double kill actually going over to Thrifty Senpai, so actually a 2 for 3 in favor of 2K2S. But I'm just standing Mandler. I don't think they're done here. They still want to go. The Dragon's being burned right now. It's real low. It will go over to 2K2S, and yeah, there's no fight to have there. Boy Butter losing the fight and giving up Dragon.
Yeah, they just sat on Karthus. Like, Karthus died real quick, but as we said, he doesn't care. He still deals damage for 6 seconds, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, they sort of fought in a perfect position for the Karthus wall because the wall was pretty much the width of the river.
Yeah.
I think the Grog Assault was obviously trying to capitalize and push him back into the wall, but I don't think it really did, and they were actually already over the wall. But like you said,
a lot of movement was burned right when he tried to engage. Like, he was trying to split them, maybe get 1 or 2 back into their team that they could pick off quickly, but it didn't work out well enough, and I think the only one who got pushed into their team was Splinter, who had the Kale ult on him right away.
All right, and then looked great. They did all the damage to those squishy backlines, but like you said, after the Kale ult was down, they're still fighting on the Karthus Defile. Yeah, and man, Thrifty is so huge right now. 264 CS at 27 minutes, 10.9k gold. The closest one is Splinter at 10.4.
Dan actually has 11k.
Oh, 11k! Wow, yeah.
Him and Dan and Thrifty are very close on gold right now.
Yeah, and I guess he has been just pretty much split pushing the entire game, and he's really gotten himself back in after sort of a debilitating start with all the jungle pressure, and he's got that Hurricane completed now. Teleport up for both top laners.
Yeah, there have been 2 separate fights where Dan, without TP, his team was able to, make it work without him, and he got a turret. So he's been having a great game so far, and he's going to be real scary with those items on Kale. That's a lot of damage coming down.
Yep. Epic
Evan.
Eve ult onto 2, but I don't think there's any follow-up, and here we go. We have the classic 1-3-1 split push out of Boy Butter. Dan's riding that wave into the top lane, and Splinter's in the bottom lane. I think he will get this bot tower tier 2.
He's worried about them rotating. I think both are until they get more sight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not a lot of sight for them to help them split push safely.
Yeah,
so they just choose to recall there.
So this is really dangerous for those 3 to be in mid right now.
Yep.
And it looks like it might bite them in the ass. Yandere's ult is down. Oh, they do get to walk out of there.
Yeah. I think they realized it just then. They're like, oh.
Just in time.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was very dangerous. Both of your side lanes went back and you were still trying to push the mid. That could have ended very poorly for them.
Yeah, especially so close so close to the engage. The Nautilus and Gragas can really start these fights at any time they choose. They do have relatively good disengage with the Braum ult. And a silence actually from Malzahar, it could really stop all that from happening, but yeah, it's still really risky.
Yeah, so they are setting up again for the 1-3-1s. Currently Splinter is middle, but I expect them to try that more often, and Ezreal Braum is a great defensive, kiting backwards if they try to fight you. Yep. Ezreal Qs for days, and Braum, obviously, his whole kit.
Yeah, meant for saving and shielding and disengaging.
Yeah.
Yeah, Boy Butter actually spread across the map right now. Albounjo's in that top lane trying to get a top lane push going, maybe trying to set it up for one of his split pushers, but it's actually the 3 in the top lane now, and Splinter in the mid, and Dan in the bottom, and he forces the teleport out of Scotch, and I think that's going to be really big.
This may be the first time in this game where Dan has TP and Scotch doesn't.
Yeah, yeah, and that means the whole world to the team that does want to split push when you have TP advantage and you have someone as dangerous and fast of a split pusher as Kale.
Yeah, absolutely. That's there until that TP comes up. They have a lot of advantage here. Oh, and I don't know if he knew Scotch was there. I don't know who wins this fight. I'm assuming. Oh wow.
Oh yeah, Dan coming back at him onto Scotch, and Scotch with the parting barrel gift to slow him down. And that fight was actually relatively close. I mean,
yeah, I was expecting just Dan to come out ahead on that, but that W did so much damage with that percent health.
Yeah, Gragas, yeah, his W has tons of damage built into it, but he does have an Abyssal Scepter, so he is reducing the magic resist of Kale and has some ability power on top of, I'd assume, relatively okay AP ratios on Gragas. But yeah, he's going, just this very standard top lane meta builds right now with Sunfire and Abyssal, and now he's got the Spirit Visage coming in, I assume. Grasp the N9, and the fight begins. Dan has to kill himself, and Zaku has to jump out immediately after getting chunked by him. Just Dan. Double kill for Dan, but Albounjo, he was standing in the defile. Karthazal comes out and picks him up, and Splinter as well, but that was after Boy Butter killed 4 members of 2K2S.
That was a great. I don't know if they planned that bait. Oh, damn with the heal right before that lands. Imagine saving that Scotch is getting ulted and he flashes out.
So yeah, Scotch comes zooming in and Gragas ults. I don't know why really.
He almost killed Dan. Dan killed right before the ult hit him, and it would have killed him.
Gotcha, yeah. And on his way out, gets suppressed by Malzahar and has to use the flash to get to safety. And another tower going over to this Boy Butter lineup. Now they have 5 towers to 2. 5.8k gold lead at 31 minutes. This is looking very good for Boy Butter, but I mean, it has looked good in the past, so let's not get ahead of ourselves, Tree.
The thing we have to see it right now is if they can crack the base. That seemed to be their issue last time. Was like they had very good splitting until they got to that base, and I'm not sure if they have a plan to actually crack it and get in there. Because just getting the first inhib can mean a lot.
Yeah, and there's tons of wave clear actually for 2K2S that prevents that from happening. I mean, Tristana has wave clear built in, and I understand he gets really, really low starting this Baron, but his team is there to help him out, and they're gonna trade Dragon for Baron. It seems like we've already seen this today, Tree.
The difference being it's Dragon 4 for Baron.
Right, yeah, and the team that got the Baron has already had a devastating 1-3-1 split push going, so
the Baron is going to help them so much right now.
Yeah. I mean, for Dragons, for 2K2S, it is only, well, I guess it is 33 minutes in the game. I don't know if I want to say only 33 minutes in the game, but
that's pretty good for 4 Dragons.
Yeah, and then 39 minutes roughly, we'll see the 5th Dragon come up. We'll see if they want to try to get that and use that as their win condition.
And so, knowing that, I'm assuming their whole plan here is just try and keep them out, which is going to be very hard with this Baron. But if they can keep them out, their plan right here is going to be try and get, just wait for that Dragon 5 and then go for a fight.
Yep. And Boy Butter methodically moving through that blue side jungle. They ward it up as they go and take all of the jungle monsters. Dan's in that bottom lane. He does have teleport advantage over Scotch, but Scotch's teleport will be up relatively soon. And here we go. We see the 3-1-1 split push actually. So Splinter in that mid lane, able to help out his 3 members with the Nocturnal on the side lane there. Dan gonna pick up a free red buff. That's him. And Epic on Derry, he's all the way in this bottom side. I think he's coming over. He's realizing that he's got to help out his team here on this.
Yeah, they have to try and pick something here. And
yeah,
there's an ult.
Elisol comes out onto Cruise Master, the immobile Malzahar. If he gets knocked in straight into the fight, exhausted and sits on the defile, it dies. But the Braum Q, the fadeaway Braum Q actually finishes off Thrifty. So 1 for 1. But as it's happening,
they got 2 towers.
Moved down to the bottom lane and got the inhibitor tower.
They got the inner tower and the inhib tower.
Yeah, so 2 tower is actually taken in that siege, and that bottom inhibitor is now open. It's a 4v4 right now. Baron buff still on Boy Butter, so I still think they have the advantage here. They can still keep pushing this. Scotch
And they're back
trying
down
to
there.
coming in. Epic on Gandari. They're trying to go in on Albino Joe, but it's not going to be enough, and it's disengaged.
Oh,
And they
man.
brought all 4 members up over there, and the inhibitor goes for free.
This is some sneaky shit going on. They
Oh,
walked out, waited, like they baited with Manlore and Joey, and immediately walked back in.
Yeah, in Manlore, he's got the easy route portal. So just to really bring it on home on that split pushing strategy.
Yeah, and this is working for them. Like I said, the thing that we need to wait and see is if they can crack that base, and they did it. So this should be much easier for them to close out. That dragon, though, has to be a couple minutes out here at this point. 39, I think you said?
Yep, 39 around that time.
So we've got about 3 more minutes until Dragon comes up. The Baron has worn. Oh, not quite, actually. Baron is just about to wear within the next minute.
Yep. And now that Boy Butter has a bottom inhibitor down, it will definitely open them up for a very easy Baron take if they choose to do so. And they swap the numbers here. We got the 1-4 split push going now. Dan trying to lay that pressure down in the top lane. He still has teleport. Throughout the entire fight, he just stayed in the bottom lane, and Splinter rotated over and helped him get that. So both top laners now have teleport up to K2S. They're just doing their best to roam around and clear these ways as fast as possible. Thrifty, like we stated before, he is ginormous, so his AP ratios are through the roof
trying
right
to fight Dan,
yeah,
but he's getting turned on fairly heavily here.
Risky Onichan, he gets low. Camera was away, so I'm not sure how that happened, but he has to go back. So I mean, just these continuous poking out of Boy Butter, sending people back, it really adds up over time. They even have this easy route portal right close in mid lane.
Yeah, they've
Scott
got
keeps
everything.
going in on these belly flops, but he whiffs them and Dan just punishes them.
They've got exactly what they want because they have bottom pushing for itself. They have a Z-Rod and a 3-man push mid, and Dan just trying to get down that top. Like, there's so much pressure on you right now if you're blue team.
Yeah, and yeah, Thrifty, they tag out, and Thrifty's like, all right, I'll take over top lane. You go back, get some food and a hot shower, and meet me back up here at top lane. But yeah, it's just relentless with this Baron buff. No, actually, it's worn out now, so it'll be a little less effective. That Zero Rock Portal probably is helping out. Not sure to what extent, though. Dragon's up in a minute.
There's 2 Z-Rods in mid. There's one for blue and one for red. They're just walking past each other.
What? Up.
So this is weird.
Albino Joe flashed. I don't know why that happened. Yeah, I'm not sure, but Cruisemaster lays the Melta Heart down onto Scotch. Gets him down to half health, and Splinter activates the Ghost.
That'll be the turret.
Just go for the tower, and he does.
So they managed to get another one.
Mid
Dan
and tower. Dan, he was trying to go for the top tower here. Epic on Darren pushes Dan back, and Splinter uses his ult to help his buddy out and make sure he stays alive.
And this may be they're oh, they are backing actually top. I thought they were going to try and finish off that third turret right away and just be able to open every avenue up for them, but they're taking this slow. They're playing this very methodical.
Yeah, and I think they learned from their past game where they attempted this 1-3-1 split push, and I think they're executing it a lot better.
Yeah, I don't know if they changed their shot calling or just there was some small misplay from that. Well, a small misplay. That was the Baron throw game, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was it that one?
Oh,
and a flash.
They get the dragon, they take it away from 2K2S, and they're trying to find the fight. Nautilus ult goes down on the Splinter. He flashes over the wall to safety. I'm just Dan. He is the target. Kale ult is on him. He won't be taking the damage, and this fight is chaotic.
What is happening?
On so many fronts. I'm just Dan. Picking up the kill on Epic on Derry, but he's still alive. He's still life stealing. He's still doing damage. Triple kill for Dan so far. Gets the quadra kill.
Oh.
On the Thrifty Senpai, but shut down, and Karthasol takes 3 members to the grave with him? Nearly a fourth?
That was so close.
Yeah.
And Albino Joe was full health I think the only thing that hit him was 1Q and the ult.
Oh my god.
And that almost killed him.
Yeah, and he even has Quicksilver Sash, so like,
He
it's
has
still
he has
30
some
MR
MR.
more than an AD carry would have.
But
Wow, yeah.
regardless, they do get this inhib, and they may go for the top tower too. That was low, I believe. It is still low. So they could go for that, but I don't think they will. They are almost spawning. So this, it'll be the inhib and out call.
Yep. Yeah, so the only 2 remaining members on the map, Miracle and Albino Joe, and I mean I guess that's sort of the cadence of this game. Those 2 have really performed above expectations. Mandler coming in, subbing in for King. They swap it around. Joe plays AD now on Ezreal, and both of them have just really played phenomenally well. I can't stress enough how big of an impact they've made this game.
Yeah, they've definitely gotten their split pushing down, and it is working great for them.
So a 10k goal lead for the Boy Butter squad. Tree, this surely looks like their first win of the season. I can't imagine it any other way, but I mean, even the last game where they played this combo.
Oh, we have another fight. This might be it.
Message here. Mandalore gets hooked in, but you're hooking in onto the Braum tank. Master Splinter gets to the back line, and Therapy Senpai goes down right at the start of the fight from Albino Joe. Defile, and they move across the card that they choose not to fight on him. There's already 3 members dead for 2K2S. Dan's the only one dead. They're flashing in. They're trying to secure this last kill into Scotch. They want to finish this game. They want their first win of the season. Will they do it? Tristana ult knocks Splinter back, and I don't think there's anything Zaku and Scotch can do against this 4-man push. Albino Joe going in. Arcane Ship.
I have to assume this is over.
Yeah, finishing off the top inhib now. Middle inhib's already down. The wave's pushing in. ZZ route placed. This might be it, folks. This might be the game. Boy Butter showing that they're not going to sit down and take it this season. Zaku goes down.
Doing everything he can, but that's going to be every tower on the map for Blue gone, and the Nexus, falling. And they're 1-5. They did not undefeated.
They did it, folks. They
better than WCF.
Wow, what a game. What a week so far. This is really probably been my favorite SBL week. Just from 2 games. It's really exciting game 1, nail biter, and then a huge milestone of Boy Butter picking up their first win of the season. And honestly, it was pretty decisive. It was them knowing their win condition and
after a certain point, I would say it was fairly decisive. The early game was very back and forth.
That's true, and yeah, with Epic on Dairy, he was going like 5-1 on that Eve. It looked bad right away, but they just scaled up Boy Butter with their split pushing comp. All right, who do you want to bring in?
I think it has to be Splinter. He had awesome presence early. Like we said, at one point he was even 5-1, I think, maybe 5-0 with Yandere, and he was up 40 CS.
Yeah. So I'd say Dan and Splinter, because those 2 have performed well all season. This must feel good for them.
Yeah. I mean, everyone did their job for sure, but those 2, I think, just did it a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to pull them up as soon as I remember which fucking channel they're in. The bottom one, of course.
User was moved to your channel. User was moved to your channel.
Welcome, boys. Congratulations on the first win. How's it feel?
Thank you.
Oh, dude, it feels so good. Our
might have
comms
woken
just blew
people
up
in the apartment.
Yeah. Yeah, that was it feels good, man. Winning feels good.
Yeah. All right. So the stage is set. The storyline begins. You enter week 6. It's a whole new round robin. Second half of the season, 05. You guys come in, go against what looks to be a pretty strong 2K2S team, and you guys pull out the split pushing comp once again. Was this planned for this game in general, or was this planned specifically against 2K2S?
Splinter, you want to take that one?
We had a bunch of comps depending on what they banned, but generally we wanted to do a team fight and split comp against them, just in general. It worked last time. Our best game in week 3 was a split comp. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think coming into it, we were just kind of like, you know what? We're on 5. Let's just play some champions that we're all pretty good at and see where it goes from there. And it took us to a win.
Yeah, I mean, after a questionable early game, and it's really not you guys making mistakes, but it's just epic Yandere try harding his way. Yeah, I mean, it was. Let's just talk about that. You see, you left Epic Yandere's Eve open. Why? Why?
well, go ahead, Dan, if you.
I'm not sure. No, I'm not sure why. Splinter, you can take that, but I was just gonna comment on it.
So I was hoping that he'd pick it, and obviously he's going to have a huge early presence with that champion. But the team fight aspect, I feel that Evelyn is a little weaker. Where like when he's been playing those engaged champions, I think that they have been performing better as a team. And that's why we banned some of Scotch's champions and then the Amumu. Big way that engaged that they rocked us in the first time we played.
Right. Yeah. And
You guys
but
definitely
obviously, yeah, we had to get through the early game though, and that was the
you
gamble
managed.
we took.
You managed. Got there. Once you guys got into that 1-3-1 or 3-1-1, like you were doing a lot of pressure onto them.
Yeah, I was noticing that like once we settled into that groove and we kind of just like danced around globally, we were able to get a lot of work done.
Nice.
But I do have to say, even though we left the Eve open, fuck Evelyn, okay? That's like 4 ganks before I was level 6. Go fuck Epic, go fuck yourself. God damn.
Oh yeah. He lived up there for a while.
Yeah.
I was tilted, but then I saw that I was beating Scotch in farm, and I'm just like, well, I mean, I guess we can just farm this out, and my score doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I mean that's what you did. You were keeping up in CS pretty much the whole game with Scotch, which really shouldn't have happened because you're being sent back to your base so often.
Yeah.
From being killed, but there was one point where they tried it again, and you already had your ult, I think, and you're already kind of low, but you went back to your tower and you actually fended off the 2-man gank, and you almost killed Scotch. At that point, it was like, come at me now, bitches.
Yeah, I don't actually think I had my ult for that.
Oh, wow.
I think I just kind of dipped around my tower, and they weren't able to finish it off. But yeah, that was kind of the turning point when I put my foot in the sand and pushed back. But really, I mean, that's just laning phase, honestly. Our global gameplay, especially with Manlore coming in after only playing 1 game out of the last 5, and being able to kind of mesh with this team comp really helped out.
Yeah.
I mean, he's like
30.
2
What
and
was
21.
What was your team name that had Death God top?
Team Flashlight.
Flashlight, yeah. So we I don't think we went as hard as your team, because didn't you guys just like pick whatever you guys want, go on it? Because this game we kind of did that, but we actually made a comp out of it. Like,
this is the fuck it, pick what you want comp.
Yeah.
Like we agreed, we all talked about it. Like, okay, well, pick what you want, but what can we make out of that?
Yeah.
Where it's like, all right,
Hey,
Death
man,
God, going
I don't-
outside top. All right, fine.
I don't think anyone would have faulted you no matter what you did at 0-5. Like sometimes sometimes you just need to throw shit at the wall and see what sticks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well-
and to go off the Manlore thing, you like Dan said, this is the first week you brought him in. You benched K King, I assume, or right? I mean, it was a very very bad performance last week, but Manlore coming in with Albino Joe Bale, and they look devastating. Manlore really did work. 2-2 and 21 assists on the game. He's almost a part of like every kill.
Yeah, and that like our best week was week 3, and we didn't stick with that lineup for another week because I mean I guess overall we didn't think switching out King and putting Manlore's support and switching Joey to AD was really the issue. I thought we were just getting better as a team in communication. Where no, switching up on this actually it works really well for even our communication. So.
Yeah, well, it definitely seemed to work for you guys. Obviously, I mean, you got your first win. Hopefully, the first of more than one coming down the pipeline.
Hopefully.
All right, and I think that'll do us for Game 2, boys. We'll be back soon for Game 3.
Thank you.